So obviously, don't ever submit your login details into Codebase, but this is not going anywhere, so it's okay. I'll create that account, and now when I rerun my test, I should be able to. Yeah, okay. So now I have this very simple test. I have a describe block. I have CY session over here. And in that session, I have my login sequence, right? I open my login page. I fill in the email. I fill in the password, and then I check whether the document has cookie Trello token, which is the authorization token. I could probably do the validation of successful login in some other way, but this is how I would do that. And then I'm using CY visit to log in first time and log in second time. So when I run that, it's going to take like 1 second. If I were to delete that session, then it would take 3 seconds. So we're saving some good time here. Now I wonder if we were to copy this test, create another spec and do spec number 2, CYTS, do the same thing over here. And if we were to, let's test it out, right? I'm going to close this. I'll close the Cypress and do npx cypress run to run all those specs and see how long it takes. And we can compare if when we cache those sessions across the specs, how long will that take? So now we got like 2 seconds for each spec, 4 seconds in total, like the runtime. Oh, sorry, I used the session login. Shouldn't have. Let's comment this out. Run that again. See how long it takes. So we got 3 seconds for the first test, 3 seconds for the, or 2 seconds for the second test, and now we have like 5 seconds here, right? Here it is. And awesome. So let's, okay, how do we actually cache those sessions across specs? Let's take a look. Session.
It's just cache across specs.
Yeah, but where do I put that option? ID setup options across cache across specs. So that's like in the option object, right? And what do can I pass it as a second
object? I just
object?
assumed. Oh, gotcha.
ID setup and options. Oh, okay, I get it now. I think it should be like this, right? So we got name, we got the setup, and now we have the options, and cache across specs should be true. Is that going to work? Expected 1 or 2 arguments, but got 3.
Right. It will, if you have TypeScript enabled, it should.
Not sure if I have it set up properly, but it says that it's expecting 1 or 2 arguments, so it seems like the thing is running. Oh wait, did I? Oh yeah, I put it in the wrong place.
Oh, did you put that maybe in the before each?
Yeah,
and not
exactly.
Okay, yep.
All right, so let's fix this as well, and now let's see the results. I'm wondering what will happen. I think we got an extra thing here. All right, let's save both of those tests. So we are at 5 seconds, right? So let's see what this will do. So obviously the first one will do the login through UI, so that's not going to change. But the rest of those should take less, and it seems like it's already happening. 2 seconds. Ooh, nice. So we have gone down to 3 seconds. Obviously we could test it a couple of times, but look at this. Like the second spec just got something under 1 second. Before, when we were logging in manually, it was 2 seconds. So and this one was 3. The first one always takes a little longer. It's interesting.
And in spec 2, did you have to call sci.session? You had to call that with login, right?
I always do. I always need to have this command, because that's like, so basically the way that works, as far as I understand that, is when you have that sci.session, Cypress will look at it, and it will take a look and say, oh, this is sci.session, and the name of that session is called login. Now, do I have a login session cached somewhere or not? If I don't, I run this sequence of commands, this whole setup, and then cache it. If I do, I don't need to run this again. I'll just take the cache, apply it in the browser, and continue. So I need to have this in order for Cypress to make that decision. I mean, you've been working on the sci.session, right? So
Yeah.
I
So
do I understand that correctly? Because that like intuitively makes sense to
yeah.
me.
So let's just say now that you were to run spec 2 first. What if you ran spec 2 before you ran the first spec? Like, what if you ran them out of order?
I think what would happen would be that, like, when these two run, sci.session will do login in the first test, in the first id block of the first spec. Right? It's going to go through that sequence. It's going to go to visit, login.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to do that anyway, right? But it's not going to do that for test number 2 over here and for none of the tests in spec 2. As soon as we have that cache across specs, right?
Yep.
So the order doesn't matter. It only, it would still, like, the result would be the same. The first time, this Cypress will find a session that's called login. It will run this session, and then the second time it will find it. It's going to just take it from cache.